Popularly known for the 1989 remix of her single Electric Boogie, reggae artist Marcia Griffiths, who was once said to be more famous than the legend, most likely Bob Marley, has come to talk about her rough path to success. Join us today as we unravel what the 75-year-old star has to say about the secret behind her promotion in the industry. A regular Jamaican girl, Marcia Griffiths, OJOD, popularly known by her stage name as Marcia Griffiths, was born on November 23, 1949, in West Kingston, Jamaica, to Joseph and Beatrice Griffiths. Her family came from a poor section of West Kingston. Still, as bad as things were, Marcia Griffiths thought those days were glorious. Why? There was always one thing in abundance, one thing that made them the wealthiest family in the world, the love and bond they shared as a family. Her father was a carpenter and also a singer. I guess that he is the one that I got the talent from. He loved to sing. He wasn't one of those singers who went to places and sang. I just know he had a beautiful voice, and we used to do concerts at the school we went to, and he would sing songs from Nat King Cole, Marcia Griffiths said. At the same time, her mother wasn't a singer, but a housewife who was so humble and quiet. There was nothing her mother preferred more than staying at home and making the best dinners for their family. The flame of music began to burn within her at a very young age. While growing up, Marcia Griffith listened with a keen interest to and admired singers like Aretha Franklin, Carla Thomas, and Dionne Warwick. As of then, there weren't many female artists in Jamaica, but one that stood out despite the odds was the late Hortense Ellis, a local singer. Marcia Griffiths fell in love with her music. We were influenced by American music and American singers in the early years, so I used to listen to people like Aretha Franklin. She was definitely my influence. That was my favorite. And Patti LaBelle, even though the first song I sang on stage was Carla Thomas' No Time to Lose. But I loved all those female singers. Dionne Warwick, Nancy Wilson, those are my favorite singers, said Marcia Griffiths. Her family also played a huge role in her interest in music. We had a Rediffusion, one little box with one station. Whether we liked it or not, we had to just listen to what was there. But we were just hearing a whole lot of American music. Jamaican music, occasionally, of course, but as I said, we were totally influenced by American music, Marcia Griffiths said. As a teenager, Marcia Griffiths attended Kingston Senior School and was an enthusiastic member of her church choir, as well as participating in school concerts and plays. Just like every other regular teenager, the star loved to hang out and sing with friends. She was also very confident about herself as a teen. I was very positive, Marcia Griffiths was quoted as saying in Reggae Roots. Rather than being afraid or nervous, I wanted to show everyone what I could do. That was who Marcia Griffiths was. She was someone who wasn't scared to change the system and set a record. She was, and still is, confident in herself and her abilities, which paved the way to her great success. Keep your eyes glued as we dive into her success story next. Discovering the regular Jamaican girl. According to Marcia Griffiths in an interview with BK Mag, her path to fame goes thus. I started out on Easter Monday morning, 1964. I was still going to school. My father went to Carib theaters because in Jamaica, we are influenced by American music. Studio One is where all the great artists graduate, so we were influenced by American music. That's all we heard. For me, I was inspired by Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Dionne Warwick. All these female singers were so popular in Jamaica, and Carla Thomas, of course. No Time to Lose by Carla Thomas is the song I chose to perform on Easter Monday morning with Byron Lee. It was a big issue getting me on the show because the show had already been planned, so Byron Lee said, "No way." But somehow I managed to get on, went to the rehearsal, rehearsed one song, and went on stage in the morning, young and little. I was going to be 13 in November. When I walked out there, I was more anxious to show everyone what I could do. I wasn't nervous, nothing, because I'm just young and innocent. So I walked out there, and I didn't have a clue that the band had planned to sabotage me. Philip Bosie James came to visit his girlfriend just where I was living in Hannahtown, Kingston, and he heard me singing with this guy who lived in the same yard. He played a guitar, and I was harmonizing this guy's song. And Philip heard me singing this song with this guy, and he said, "Wow, this little girl can sing," and he asked me what else I could do. And I sang Patti LaBelle, Down the Aisle, and he said he insisted that he had to get me on the show. When Marcia Griffiths was asked if she felt like she was a good singer at that age, or if she felt like she had something special, or was simply enjoying it, she replied, "No, I just enjoyed it. It didn't matter whether I had something special. I just know I love to sing. I sing in school at concerts, and I sing in the church choir. And that's all I knew. And I had no vision of what was about to happen." What was about to happen? Philip brought you to this concert with Byron Lee, and you were saying they didn't want you there and they sabotaged you, the interviewer asked. Marcia Griffiths replied, "Yeah, because they could not understand why, after the show was planned, he wanted me so badly to appear on the show. So, I don't know. When I stood there waiting for the guitar to start the song, I couldn't hear anything. And the audience started to mumble in the theater, and I'm saying, my God, what is this? So, I turn around to look at the musicians to at least say what's going on, and then I saw they were smiling. It was like a giggle. So, that was when I heard a voice say to me, 'Little girl, you better start singing.' So, I just forgot everything about the band, and I started singing this song, and they all had to follow me. That's how we overcame that." According to the legend, that same day after she left Carib Theaters, she was taken to Studio One. They had walked from Carib straight to Studio One, as it was only a 5-minute walk. When she was asked how she felt about walking in, she replied, "I felt so overwhelmed as a little girl, because I knew that Philip was worried that if I didn't go over well, they would all curse him and say, 'See what I told you.' But he was so happy, and I was too, so I didn't want to let him down. So, I was very happy going down the street." The attention Marcia Griffiths received after her debut was overwhelming. Everyone wanted to manage her, including Byron Lee's manager, Ronnie Nasrallah. That same night, he took her to the studios of JBC, where Marcia made her first television debut. In just one day, Marcia Griffiths had an encounter with success itself. Her music career officially begins. Marcia Griffiths recalled, "I started singing professionally as a vocalist in 1964 for Byron Lee and the Dragonaires band. Her performance was sufficiently impressive that the following day, Ronnie Nasrallah and Clement Dodd both offered her recording contracts. Her recording years started soon after, at Coxsone Dodd Studio One, where she recorded her first hit, Feel Like Jumping. Mr. Dodd, he was so overwhelmed with my voice that he was desperate to find a hit song for me. And this is a reason why he had me doing collaborations with people like Free Eye, Jeff Dixon, Bob Andy, Tony Gregory, and another small island guy called Owen Boyce. He just wanted me to have a hit song, but it didn't come until 1967 with the same Feel Like Jumping. That was my first hit song," Marcia Griffiths said. It was while she was recording at Studio One that Griffiths teamed up with Bob Andy on Really Together, the first of many duets that the two would record. "Luckily for me, Bob Andy was always a strong and wise person," says Griffiths. "He was there for me in the early days, and that gave me confidence." Then the pair moved to the Harry J label, hitting the British as well as the international charts with Young Gifted in Black and The Pied Piper, recording 2 albums with the same titles. From 1970 to 1974, Marcia Griffiths worked together with Bob Andy as a duo, Bob and Marcia, on the Harry J label. She also recorded for Lloyd Charmers. Between 1974 and 1981, she was a member of the I-Threes, a trio of backing singers that supported Bob Marley and the Wailers. She then continued to record as a solo artist throughout the 1970s, working with producers such as Sonia Pottinger and Joseph Hu Kim. By 1973, Marcia Griffiths was already an international star and more famous than Bob Marley. She contributed to the group's first LP on Island Records, Catch a Fire, by running in songs like No More Trouble. In 1974, she joined Bob Marley and the Wailers as one of the permanent members of the I-Threes, the vocal trio that also included Judy Mowat and Rita Marley, who lifted and reinforced Bob Marley's messages on the stage and studio albums. With a group, we have to coordinate and we have to communicate. And Bob Marley was so meticulous, and he was a man who strived for perfection. So when it comes to Bob, we have to be so right. I can't tell you, I've never seen anything like that. If he hears one wrong note, no. Remember, we are going to rehearse it like an evening on stage. The following day we did that one song for 3-4 hours because he wanted perfection, Marcia Griffiths said. For her solo performances, she delivered heavy love songs like The First Time I Saw Your Face and Sweet Bitter Love, 1964, on the album Play Me Sweet and Nice, and the Immortal Roots reggae classic Steppin' Out of Babylon on the album Steppin'. In between, she released the album Naturally, which featured her renditions of Bunny Wailer's classic Rastafarian song Dreamland, Bob Marley's Lonesome Feeling, and her hit songs Feel Like Jumping, Truly, and Melody Life. These songs are still played by radio stations worldwide. At Studio One, everybody worked as a family. If I were recording, other singers like Bunny Wailer or Rita would come in and everybody would sing harmony on each other's songs. So, I don't remember how Bob came to do the first song for me, but I think the first song was Mark My Words, and then Melody Life, Truly, Feel Like Jumping, was Jackie Mittoo and Bob Andy himself, she said. When asked to express her opinion on female reggae vocalists, the legend said, "It's been a rough, tough job standing up as a woman in this business. That's why my album before Land of Love, I chose to call Indomitable, which means not easily discouraged or defeated. My views on women in reggae are positive. Most of the new or upcoming female singers in reggae started out singing my songs before doing their originals. I feel very good about that, to know that I have influenced my people positively." In December 1982, Marcia Griffiths released the song Electric Boogie, which was written exclusively for her by Bunny Wailer. The song came about spontaneously after Wailer and Griffiths experimented with a rhythm box that Griffiths had purchased in Toronto earlier that year. Wailer noted that Electric Boogie was inspired by Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant, also released that same year. In the first few months of 1983, the song reached the top of the charts in Jamaica. With some help from Bunny Wailer 1990, Marcia Griffiths hit the Billboard chart with Electric Boogie and created a world-class dance, the Electric Slide. Although the 1983 version became a minor hit for Griffiths, the song was remixed in 1989, and it was this version that made the Electric Slide, a line dance, an international dance craze. It then reached number 51 on the US Billboard Hot 100, making it her most successful single. It is currently the highest-selling single by a female reggae singer of all time. Marcia Griffiths has had further hits more recently, with producer Donovan Germain. Marcia Griffiths was featured on the album True Love by Toots and the Maytals, which won the Grammy Award in 2004 for Best Reggae Album, and showcased many notable musicians, including Willie Nelson, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Trey Anastasio, Gwen Stefani, No Doubt, Ben Harper, Bonnie Raitt, Manu Chao, The Roots, Ryan Adams, Keith Richards, Toots Hibbert, Paul Douglas, Jackie Jackson, Ken Booth, and the Skatalites. Her experiences in the music industry. In an interview, Marcia Griffiths revealed the struggles she encountered in the music industry and her experiences so far. During her early years in the industry, reggae was a male-dominated industry. When Griffiths was asked if she struggled to find her footing as a woman in the industry, she replied, "For me, it was like a bed of roses compared to what others might go through. I didn't struggle to become who I am, but it was a male-dominated business, and as an unknown female in the business, it wasn't easy for me among male musicians, male artists. That's why I always have a special thing in my heart, because that's where I met Sister Rita as the only woman in the stable. So, we became very close. So, it was a struggle keeping your head up. And I can tell you this, one of the reasons I survived was that I met Bob Andy. He was everything that a young girl needed to survive in a male-dominated business, because he was everywhere that I went. Every performance, every recording, everything. They just couldn't get him out, and they didn't like that. A young girl is in town and you're vulnerable, and all the guys have eyes out looking, and here's this guy who is not leaving. So, they hated his presence, but I didn't care. He was just there for me. I think God wanted me for a reason, for a purpose to have met Bob Andy as a guide, and he was way ahead in knowledge of the music, and very intelligent, very smart, she said. She also spoke about the struggles of a Jamaican woman. You know, another thing that we were lacking in Jamaica, and this is especially for the women, overall, women are usually seen for their favors. They believe women are mothers and wives, and they should stay at home and look at the babies and keep the house and cook. So, we were not privy to a lot of the things business-wise, and we never had good management. Even today, I would beseech all my sisters in the business. One of the most important things, I think, we as women in the business need is to have good management to represent us, because we cannot be singers and managers. We cannot be both business people and singers. One is definitely going to suffer, the reggae legend said. Still on her experiences in the music industry, I have said it in many interviews, how even out of evil cometh good. That #1 song came from a bad experience that we, as women, had in Canada. Up until quite recently, 9 out of 10 times women would go on stage to perform, but at the end of it, receive a hard luck story instead of their pay, but they think twice to try it with a man, she shared. It was never easy in a male-dominated world. The number of women in the music business could be counted on one hand at the time of my emergence. It was a struggle. I invested in a small rhythm box, bought in Canada, returned to Jamaica, showed it to Bunny Wailer, and that's what we used to create the hit. Sometimes things happen strangely, she shared further. The lyrics of one of her songs, Survival, go thus. You push me round like I'm just a clown. You want to see me suffer. You treat me just like you treated the ground, trampling me all over. But I'll get on my feet again and ride on a wave to happiness. Burn all the hurting pain, in times like these where survival is the game. According to her, the song was inspired by more than one experience. Marcia Griffiths said, "Survival to survive is an experience, and I lived it and experienced the worst. And a lot of my sisters can relate to it because they have lived it." The next revelation would leave you in shock, as I'm sure you also didn't know the story behind the popular dance Electric Slide. I have never seen anything like this, and guess what? This song, everyone was on summer holiday from different parts of the states. So how that song spread, they took it back to the other states, all the other states that they came from. Marcia Griffiths replied to the question about the story behind the popular dance. All this time I'm trying to find Bunny to say, "Bunny, this song is a big hit. Let us do a video." Can I tell you that we searched the entire globe for Bunny, trying to find him just to give him the good news that this song is a big hit and we want to do a video. And we called Chris Blackwell as well. Chris was shocked. He didn't know that the song was so big. And when he called Island Records and they said yes, how much the song was selling, and he was so upset that they didn't inform him. We couldn't find Bunny, and I am saying, boy, this is the biggest opportunity I've gotten in my entire career, and look, it's going to go to waste. So I came to Jamaica to go to Sunsplash. While I was driving down South Avenue, which is Media Mix, a music place was right on that road. So while we were passing, I saw Bunny's car parked in the yard. I was so happy. We turned inside so overwhelmed to see Bunny, and we went inside. When I walked in, I just wanted to disappear, wanted to go to the earth. I saw Bunny inside recording the video. He had already gone in the studio to cover the song, and he was now doing the video, and guys were dancing the same dance. I was speechless. Didn't know what to feel because I'm still young and innocent of all of these dirty negative things. I don't know anything about this kind of style that people do. I didn't know what to say, and I just came out of the place. I can't remember if I cried out. I was just out of it. I couldn't believe that after all this time, I'm looking for him to give him the good news. He maybe heard that the song was a hit, and instead of trying to find me like I was trying to do, he went in the studio, recorded over the song, and now he was doing the video, Marcia Griffiths said. "Did you guys recover from that? Did you ever patch it up after that?" the interviewer asked. Well, knowing me, I don't carry things like that, and we were coming from so far away. So he used to hold my hand when I was maybe 5 years old and take me to kindergarten, which we call a little school at that time. And he would go on to big school. It was such a big shock for me. So when I hear people saying that I recorded over Bunny's Electric Boogie, I say, what is this? First of all, the whole thing was born from my rhythm, Marcia Griffiths replied. Marcia Griffiths later left Studio One, stating her reasons for doing so. I left Studio One because year after year, we realized that survival is the name of the game. We were there singing, but it's like a 9-to-5 job. We'd go there in the morning, and we didn't leave until night. We were always in the studio, and all we'd get was just one patty for lunch, and that's it. We needed money to survive, and he wasn't giving us any. I remember the first time he told me about some royalties was Feel Like Jumping in Words, another collaboration, and it was like, I don't remember if it was £2 or what it was. One of the reasons why we left was when Harry J came to the studio up at Mr. Dodd's to invite us down to his studio, telling us that he can do better for us, because by this time, I was getting all the awards year after year. Best Female Singer every year. So everyone knew my name, and he wanted me to come to start recording. I remember Mr. Dodd chasing Harry J from his gate, threatening him every time he appeared, she said. The legend concluded with this. This is an era where women are in the background. We are frontline, doing so many things. Even in the very industry I am in, it is beautiful with all the flowers growing and blossoming in the garden. And it shows that times and things have changed. I celebrate so many women leaders worldwide, women in government, the field of medicine, and piloting planes. Like the Bible says, the woman shall surpass the man. I don't think there is a job that a woman couldn't tackle, master, or survive as a man would, she said. Her legacy and achievements. Known as the first female reggae artist to make waves in Jamaican history, Marcia Griffiths has garnered numerous accolades. Her awards include the Prime Minister's Award of Excellence in 2002. She appeared in the 2011 documentary Reggae Got Soul, the story of Toots and the Maytals, which was featured on the BBC and described as the untold story of one of the most influential artists ever to come out of Jamaica. Then, as of December 2013, a Brazilian documentary film about Griffiths, Reggae Meets Samba, was in production. In January 2014, she announced that as part of her 50th year in the music business, she would be releasing an album of her favorite songs by other artists, songs that inspire me, songs I love to sing, recorded with Jermaine. That same year, in August, it was announced that Griffiths would receive the Jamaican Order of Distinction, Commander Class, in October. She also received the Gleaner Honor Lifetime Achievement Award for Entertainment in 2015. In January 2018, Marcia Griffiths signed an exclusive booking deal with New York-based Donsum Records booking agency. The legend was one of 3 recipients of the 2020 Jamaica Reggae Icon Award presented on Independence Day. That same year, she was inducted into the Young, Gifted, and Black YGB Caribbean Music Entertainment Icon Hall of Fame in New York. And then in October 2023, Marcia Griffiths was conferred with the Order of Jamaica, OJ, Jamaica's 4th highest national honor. According to the legend, these are all important, and I am thankful for each award and accolade. But in a time like this, when there is a tendency to think everything a downer, it was uplifting to have been named a YGB Hall of Fame inductee, the talented singer remarked. Her personal life. Although there isn't much information about the legend's personal life, fans once suspected a spark between her and Bob Andy. Marcia Griffiths also spoke about it. He wrote quite a few songs for different artists. He wrote a beautiful song for Delroy Wilson, It's Impossible. And there is a particular song that is one of my favorite songs, which Ken Booth did, based on a letter that Bob himself wrote to me, which became a song, I Don't Want to See You Cry. I guess he was going through some changes in just knowing about Rastafari. He had a brother who encouraged him not to stay in a house or sleep on a bed, and they went up into the mountains, out in the hills, near Wareka Hill. He just left the house like that, and I just couldn't understand what was going on. So he came one day, and I wasn't there, and he wrote all those lyrics and left them on my dressing table. I read them. I don't want to see you cry, I've got to tell you goodbye, but I don't want to see you cry. Everything that became the song, she revealed. Fans saw the possibility of them becoming a thing, but sadly, the reverse was the case. Marcia Griffiths was romantically involved with JBC disc jockey Errol Thompson, and they both had 2 children together. After he died in 1983, the legend raised them alone. Aside from that, Marcia Griffiths is also private about her lifestyle. Her estimated $1 million in net worth is a testament to decades of hit songs, sold-out live performances, and consistent album sales. According to the legend, God could not have chosen a better position for me. I can stay in one place and send my voice to the 4 corners of the world and touch souls. I had no vision of this that would have lasted 60 years down the road. Even at 75, the legend's story or an impact is still something to look up and hold on to. What do you think about Marcia Griffiths? Do you believe that she was once more famous than the reggae legend Bob Marley? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting content. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.